Hello boys and girls, thank you for joining me for another episode of Ushanka Show, stories about life in the Soviet Union. In this video we're going to talk about Soviet housing and I'm going to show you the apartment building that my family used to live between 1976 and 1981. And here we go, this is this 9-story apartment building. This photo is kind of recent, I took it off the Google Maps. Of course it looks quite a bit different 40 years ago, my goodness, time flies. There was no window air conditioning units and there was no satellite dishes. And this is the back side of the building, and you see the difference. There are balconies on this side and there was not a single balcony on the front side of the building. What's different about this apartment building is that it contained only one-room apartments. So usually Brezhnevka era, and this is Brezhnev era apartment building, you have a 2-room or 3-room apartments. This one had only single-room apartments. And those apartments were tiny. Our apartment living room was 10 square meters, which is about 180 square feet, so roughly 10 by 10. And the kitchen was only 4 square meters, so it's about 43 square feet. And this is actually my mother's drawing. I asked her to draw by memory our apartment. So you come from the bottom, there's mark the door, has a little entryway, bathroom on the right, kitchen straight up 4 square meters, and the living room, the only room, is on the left, about 10 square meters, and I'll talk about furniture layout a little bit later. There were a total of 12 apartments per floor and total of 9 floors, so this small apartment building contained actually 108 apartments. And if you look at this layout, you say, man, this place looks like a hotel, right? And you are correct. This type of apartment buildings were called Дома гостиничного типа, hotel-style apartments. But people usually call them GOSTINKA. GOSTINKA. So Comrade Sergei lived with his family for 5 years in GOSTINKA. I took this photo back in 2008, I believe. So this is our windows. So the windows between the trees. A large window is the living room and small window is the kitchen. And back in my day, we didn't have any metal gratings on the windows, and that was added later. And this is the front door. Once again, I took this photo around 2008, so back in 1980s everything looked way nicer. Now this apartment building looked quite rustic. And as you see, some people added so-called остекление балкона, so they added windows to their balconies, so kind of enclosed the balcony, which is, it's more comfortable. You have extra, almost like a living room space. And some people, even 40 years later, still didn't bother to install those windows, which is also handy because if people smoke on the top and they toss cigarette down, if you have a balcony wide open, you keep some trash, newspapers, your balcony can catch fire. And speaking of balconies, this is the different Gostinka building, but same model. And as you see, we didn't have HOA, so there was no standard what color or what type of windows you're going to install on your balcony. So it looked kind of weird because every balcony is a different color, so it's really a mismatch in look, but no one ever gave anybody a hard time about what type of windows you're going to install on your balconies. When I was doing research for this video, I was surprised to discover that this type of building, so this specific series, was built between 1968 and 1983, and Kyiv have the most of this type of apartments. They have 47 Gostinka of this style. And here's the same series Gostinka in Riga, Latvia. It looks a little bit nicer, but exactly the same design, 9 stories high, 108 apartments. And here's our building number, Улица Молодогвардейска 16, Young Guards Street number 16. This is kind of like a Soviet name, and I believe currently the street was renamed. And this is the street address that I grew up with, Улица Молодогвардейска. Curiously enough, I still remember the day when my parents and I went to check out a new apartment. That building was still kind of in the final stage of construction, so there were no doors, or maybe there were doors, but there was no numbers. So when my family walked in the stairs, turned left, we knew that we're getting apartment number 6. So my parents counted from the right, and we went into apartment on the left, which is slightly bigger, and it had a balcony, and we were so excited that we have a nice size apartment with the balcony. But unfortunately, we were wrong. So instead of this apartment, which had about 17 square meters living room, about 182 square feet, we got smaller apartment, only 10 square meters, 108 square feet living room, and no balcony. But still, after living in the family dorms and sharing a small room with another family for almost 5 years, having our own, even tiny apartment was just amazing. And now let's take a look at my mother's drawings. She was kind enough to provide it for me. So you walk from the hallway in the bottom. To the right is the tiny, tiny bathroom. It actually had this silly shallow bathtub, like it was shallow, you couldn't take a bath. It was like a catch basin pretty much. Then straight ahead to the right is the tiny kitchen, 4 square meters. And to the left is actual room. So there's 2 couches. It's a letter D. The one way below was my couch. That's where I slept. And I'm talking couches like those clickety-clack couches that you fold it flat into the bed, or you can fold it into the couch. And another couch, that's where my parents slept. So they reclined the couch to make it a bed during the night and put it together again into a couch for the day. Top left corner, it's where our TV was. In the middle of the room by the window was the little folding tables. And then a letter C, that was like a servant, so it's like a glass doors cabinet. We had our dishes. And across from my couch on the bottom on the left, letter looks like upside down, E, which is shkaf. That's kind of like where we had, it's like a closet, right? But it's the actual piece of furniture. You open doors and you hang your clothes. So this is pretty much all you could fit. 2 couches, a little folding table, TV, and 1 wardrobe. That's the word. I mostly have great memories about living in this apartment building. So once again, it's 108 apartments, and mostly young families moved in, so there were a lot of kids to play with. So every day you have at least 10-15 kids playing outside. So there was never issue to be bored. You always had friends. I had 2 good friends, exactly the same age, and we lived on the same first level, Valera and Oleg, and we played together lots. And generally, we had a large group of kids, so we were always busy, having good time. So, yeah, I just have only good memories about my childhood spending time in this little tiny apartment. And on this photo, you kind of see the playground. It used to be way bigger during my time in the 80s, and we had no cars parked. Back then, people didn't have cars and didn't leave them parked by the buildings. So we had a lot of room to roam, and of course, we were all over the place doing stuff. Okay, and I just made a screenshot from the Google Maps to show you that I had about 5 minutes walk from our apartment building to my school. And my school was number 69. I know a lot of people are going to chuckle, but in Soviet Union, number 69 didn't have any references like that. So I never thought about, haha, I'm going to school number 69. But it was only 270 meters, so about 5 minutes walk. So not too bad. And modern name for this street is Vulitsa Volodymyra Sikevich Street. So yeah, Comrade Sergei walked to school every single day for 10 years. Never used a school bus, never got a ride, always walked. Okay, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this short story about Gostinka apartment where my family spent 5 years between 1976 and 1981. And as always, if you like this video, please don't forget to like it and share with your friends. I'll talk to you soon. До побачення. Goodbye.